Over the years, there's been an insane amount of comments on whether or not I'm actually telling the truth about being able to work on 150 to 200 songs a year and being able to put out 50 videos a year and having a family life on top of it. So today, I'd just like to address that, show you how I do that. And hopefully it will help some of you become more successful, get more done, ultimately make more money. Let's get into it. Hey everyone, I'm Colt Caparoon. Thank you for stopping by for another video. So in the office world, in the business world, and in the entrepreneurial world, there are a lot of people that are real productivity nerds. One of the things that they focus a lot of time and energy on is actually how to get more done. I'm one of those people. So how I think I'd like to organize this is I want to start off with the things that absolutely everyone can do, no matter whether you're in your bedroom on a laptop or whether you're in a super pro commercial studio. I would like to start there. None of this is gear dependent, by the way. None of this costs you any money. But I would like to start there, and then we'll work our way towards more lofty goals as we get through it, because there are some things. I shouldn't say this is not gear related, because there are some gear things that make a difference, but that's the least important part of it. So we'll work our way there, but I want to start with the things that absolutely everyone can do. I'd also like to share with you a couple apps that really help me work my way through this and stay on top of everything that I'm doing. Now, the first thing that we have to cover is how do you get to that many songs to begin with? For the past about 9 years, I have worked on between 150 and 200 songs per year. With the exception of this last year, because I was working on construction a whole bunch. I haven't added it up for 2023, but I'll bet it's somewhere in the like 60 songs maybe for 2023, because I spent 10 months doing construction. So the first thing is, how do you get to the place where you can even have the opportunity to work on that many songs per year? And it honestly just comes down to networking. The thousands of people who have to know who you are and be interested in hiring you in order for there to be 200 songs available to you to work on in a year. Like, the networking is in the thousands of people now that I've went and had coffee with, and I've talked about this in other videos. I've literally had coffee with thousands of people. And so networking is maybe the biggest part of it. Go have coffee with everyone that you can. Everyone who is involved in music in your town, they should know who you are. You should have a face-to-face relationship with 100% of them. So that should be goal number one. Now, number two is about setting up your studio environment, whatever it may be, whether it's in your bedroom or whether it's in a huge commercial facility or anywhere in between. Setting up your studio environment so there are no wasted minutes in the day. Now, what I mean by this is, and I have yet to do this in this setup of this room, I will probably do a full video on exactly how I'm doing this, but you've heard me talk about it in previous videos. You saw me work on how to lay out the rack gear, setting everything up so there are no wasted minutes in the day. So if I know that I'm going to be playing guitar a whole bunch, and that's a significant part of my daily routine, all my guitar rigs, well, everything that I have to play through are lined up. They're already set up. They're already patched into whatever microphones or whatever preamps, however my signal chain is looking. They're 100% ready to go. So when it's time to play guitar, I turn the amp on, I grab the guitar, and in 10 seconds, I'm actually recording. Same thing with vocals. Once I get back into actually tracking vocals, because I haven't yet in this room, at least one or two of those microphones will be permanently wired in, and that will be the starting place. Now, maybe we experiment with microphones. Maybe we end up using one that isn't actually set up, but those microphones are constantly wired in. They're never unhooked. So literally, they're always hooked up to a preamp. So literally all I have to do when a singer comes in, or when we have a vocal idea, or we're tracking this harmony, I just literally hit record and we're going. Setting up your studio, your space physically, so there are no wasted minutes. That's a huge part of it. Because like, oh, I want to track this vocal. Okay, I got to get the microphone out of the case. Where's my cable? I got to unwind that. Which patch point on the patch bay is it? I think this one. Is that right? Why isn't this working? That needs to never, ever happen. So that's a huge part of it, is 0 wasted minutes on the actual work that you're doing. Do everything you can to eliminate every distraction and every speed bump or roadblock on the way to the finished product of the song. Now, the next thing really just has to do with time management. Pre-having a child, this has changed a little bit since having a kid. My day used to look like I would wake up at whatever time, 8 o'clock in the morning, and I would immediately just grab my phone and reply to messages. And I would lay in bed, spending somewhere between an hour and 2 hours a day replying to emails, replying to text messages, posting on social media, whether it's a photo on Instagram or whatever it is. And that time period, that was a designated time period of my day. That's when I'm doing correspondence work. Now, in all honesty, I'm less good about that now that I have a child, because like today, school drop off is 7:15 a.m. So it's pretty hard for me personally to wake up several hours ahead of that to do that. So what I do now is I try to schedule in my day a time period to do all that clerical work, all the emails, all the text messages, all of that stuff. Sometimes it's while I'm printing stems. If I know I'm going to be printing stems for the day, which is kind of mindless work, then I'm going to be doing that in between. This might be TMI, but if I'm in the bathroom sitting on the porcelain throne, I'm replying to emails. I'm not scrolling on social media, I'm replying to emails. But then also, I can't get back to everybody. It's impossible. So I have a finite amount of time to reply to stuff and do that correspondence stuff. And then that's it. When that time for the day, however much time I have to give to it that day, when that time is used up, that's it. I can't reply to anymore. So not getting down this rabbit hole. I know a lot of people that have to clear the inbox every single day. And maybe that works for some people, but the quantity of emails that come in, it's impossible. I can't possibly get back to everybody, so I just do the best that I can. But my point is, finite amount of time. This is how much time I have today to work on that sort of stuff. And then when that time is up, I'm done. It's time to move on to the next thing. Now, one of the apps that really helps me stay on task and keep my productivity going is literally called Google Tasks. Of all the productivity apps, this is the one that works the best for me because it's the simplest and easiest to put stuff in, and it's just really satisfying to check stuff off. So this is what it looks like right here, and you can organize by time and day, or you can have a bunch of additional tasks that are not by time and day. And this does a couple things for me. One, this helps me stay on task. So every night before I go to bed, and I'll do this as far out as I need to, but every night before I go to sleep, what do I have to do tomorrow? I have to, like today, I have to do an Atmos mix. I have to work on getting the binaural render working. I have some prescription in here that I take every day, and then I also have to review an EP for mastering to make sure that there's no changes to the mixes. That's what I have to do today. And so I've organized this in a way, one, how are my ears the freshest, but two, how can I get this done the most efficiently throughout the day? So I make all those decisions, and then they just go in the app. And then that takes the mental stress load off of what needs to be done today. The brilliant thing about this is I have a set number of things that I have to have done today, and then if I happen to get that done faster, then I just scroll down to the generic to-do list, and then it is like different videos they gotta make, cable management, like different stuff that I actually just have to get done, but there's no deadline on it. And if it doesn't happen today, that's fine. And I will say that doing this, and then you just tap it and it checks it right off the list, man, that sets you up for success in such an amazing way because you're constantly getting that sense of accomplishment. You're literally checking things off of a list. The other thing I like about it is it works really well on the iPhone with your home screen. So my home screen looks like this. Actually, my home screen is a good metric for how I get so much done. So this is my home screen. We've got weather, we have got music, podcasts, calendar, and Google Tasks. And that's it. There's no social media on my home screen. I've got my text messages and emails and camera, but that's it. That's all that's on my home screen. And if I want to scroll on TikTok, which is the thing that steals the most time from us these days, I literally have to scroll over, go into my subfolder of socials, and then open TikTok. So it takes a couple deliberate steps to open any social media, so that way I'm not tempted to just mindlessly spend time on it. When I open my phone to check it, this is what it looks like. Now the next thing that I have is these custom profiles. I'm sure you can do this on Android too, but if you swipe down, you have all of these focus modes here. So we've got do not disturb, we've got personal, what do we got here? Sleep and work. My phone stays on this personal mode almost all day, every day. And I have this custom set up so only my wife, the school, my family, any of my family, my close friends, and the clients that I'm working with like nonstop, that I never stop working on, and then the app Google Tasks is allowed to give me notifications. So that way my phone doesn't ring endlessly from spam calls, because that is getting absolutely insane. And then anyone else who needs to get a hold of me, they can wait till I have a break or till the end of my day. So having that focus mode turned on most of the day is a game changer, because it never fails that, like, oh, I'm getting a call. Who is it? Oh, it's a spam call. Oh, I've got my phone in my hand. Let's just check Instagram real quick. And that's how you end up missing so many minutes throughout the day. Okay. Enough about that whole thing, because I could go on about that forever. On the video side, there are one-click presets for everything. I literally have a single click for color grading, a single click for my audio. Like when I'm editing this video, I'm literally gonna click one time and it's gonna color grade the whole clip, and I'm gonna click a second time and it's gonna add an EQ, a multiband compressor, and a limiter to my voice. All in a single click that's already preset for my voice. Bam, the whole thing's done. Then I'm just gonna chop up the silencer. When I was sitting here thinking about what I was gonna say next, I'm gonna cut that. This video is gonna take me 17 minutes to film. It's gonna take me 15 minutes to edit. That's it, we're done. You know, the stuff is really streamlined. Also on the video side of things, people are like, how do you come up with the ideas? In my notes app, this is the other thing, is I have this app in notes on my phone, and every time I have an idea for a video, it just goes right in this app. And as I have time, as I have a break, I will flesh these ideas out, and then they just get more and more worked out until a video idea is completely full. I mean, it goes on forever. Every time I have an idea for a video, whether I'm in the shower, whether I'm driving, if I'm literally mixing and I'm like, this is a technique I need to show someone, it goes in here immediately so I don't forget it. And then a lot of times I'm bullet pointing these videos out in my head in the shower. This video, I knew I was going to film this video today. In the shower this morning, I bullet pointed it out so I know exactly what I want to talk about. What I'm trying to get across to you is organization and being intentional with your time. That's really, and we'll get on to some gear things and some workflow things. But that's really what I'm trying to get across to you, is not wasting time ever on anything, but especially scrolling on social media, being extremely intentional with your time, setting up your life so there are no distractions, or your work so there are no distractions, so that way things aren't taking you out of the zone. And before we get on to some gear things, some physical things that help me work faster and be more productive, there are links down below for everything I'm going to mention here shortly. Those links go to Sweetwater. So I just want to thank Sweetwater for supporting this video. Anytime you guys need any piece of musical gear whatsoever, you can jump on any one of my videos. Click on any of the links in the description down below. Once you're on the site, you can purchase anything that you would like, anything that you need. Costs you absolutely nothing extra, but goes a long ways to help me keep making educational and informational content just like this. So thank you, Sweetwater, for sponsoring this video, and thank you to you guys for using those links anytime you need to purchase anything. Okay, gear. I think the first thing is acoustic treatment. And you don't have to go as insane as I have done here in this room, but if you don't have your room well treated, if you don't at the very least have your first reflection points covered, including a ceiling cloud, then you're fighting yourself. You are being fed bad information and you are making decisions based on bad information. And so it's far more important than what kind of monitors you're running or anything else. Acoustic treatment, acoustic treatment, acoustic treatment. It's the most important thing in your studio. I would rather mix on the cheapest budget monitors with all stock plugins and no hardware in a flawlessly treated room. I would rather do that than work on the greatest monitors in the world and all the outboard in the world in a non-treated room. Like it's that big of a deal. If you have your acoustic treatment on point, the very next thing is monitors. Because if you're being lied to, if you're not being given accurate information, yet again, even though acoustic treatment is more important than the monitors can also lie to you. And so having a well acoustic treated room with a good pair of monitors that are giving you good information for which to react, incredibly valuable. From there, it just depends on what it is that you do. I have done my very best to refine my setup so that way the tracks that I'm recording in here are like push the faders up. They're 95% of the way there. When I'm recording a guitar, I don't need to do a ton of EQ work and put soothe all over it and do all of this stuff because I've chosen the guitars and the amps and the preamps. So just faders up is 90+% of the way there. When I'm tracking vocals, I've done everything I can to have a collection of vocal mics so that way when we choose the right mic for the singer and through the right preamp and the right compressor, fader up, and it is 90% of the way there. This is super personal and depends on your tastes and your goals, and I have a million videos going over different mics and different outboard gear, and so watch the other videos. I'm not trying to tell you what to buy in this video, but my point is be intentional about the gear that you're buying and be intentional about the settings that you're using so that way you can just faders up and it is mostly done. And that saves such an enormous amount of time. The reason why I can do a mix in 30 or 45 minutes fairly often, if I'm the one that's tracked it or if the tracks are good, is because when the tracks sound incredible, when they've been recorded incredible, you have more work to do not screwing it up than you do trying to fight to make it sound good. If you're not fighting to fix problems in the mix, then it just takes way, way less time. Now, the next thing is that I do all of this pretty poorly, this time management stuff. How all this stuff that you've just heard me talk about, I'm not that great at it. Emails fall through the cracks. Every once in a while, I miss a deadline, or I struggle hard to hit a deadline. It's not uncommon that I'm up here working when after my daughter's gotten home from school, because I got to get more done. So I try my very best to balance audio, video, and family. But sometimes one of them has to suffer in sacrifice for another. And I feel very fortunate that I have a wife that supports me and that understands. And I feel very fortunate that my daughter understands, and it's cool. You know, you don't get to this place by not being a completely obsessive, well-adjusted human. Like, you only get here because you're completely obsessed, and maybe you're not the most well-adjusted person. So, a little bit of my flaws in there as well. Oh, last thing. This is the last thing. When I say I work on 200 songs a year, that doesn't necessarily mean that I have produced, mixed, and mastered 200 songs a year. I do a lot of mastering for other people, like a lot. I master for a lot of producers and a lot of mix engineers. And if I'm doing full-length albums, which doesn't happen a ton, it's a lot of EPs though, we're doing chunks of 10 songs, and I can do a 10-song album in a day when I'm mastering. So, 200 songs sounds like an insane amount of songs. And yes, 60 or 70 of those are ones that I've actually produced. But if I can mix a song in a half a day, I can mix 2 songs a day, and I can master 10 songs in a day, it starts to look a lot more realistic. But I can only do it that quickly because of everything else I've talked about in this video. I hope that this helped you. I hope that this is going to help your productivity, which will help make you more money, I hope that it will increase your chances for success doing this. So thank you guys for watching. Drop a comment below the like button if you got something out of this. And don't forget all the links in the description. Thanks, guys. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.